Hey, welcome back. Let's talk more about coaching. I'm Coach Kirk, and I'm going to help you become the best life coach ever. Because today we're going to talk about coaching programs and really what is the best structure for a coaching program. So there's lots of different ideas out there, lots of people coming up with brand new things that you could add to your coaching program or take out of your coaching program. And here's the thing. Coaching comes down to some real fundamental steps, and what you want is you want your coaching program to have these fundamental steps. So I'm going to go through each one of these fundamental steps with you so you can check it against the coaching program you currently have. Because if the clients are not experiencing what it really takes to change, they're not going to change, and that means they're not going to tell people about what you do. So referrals are going to go way down. And that's not good because referrals are amazing, because that says you are the best life coach ever. And so that's what we want. We want people bringing you referrals of family, friends, coworkers, and also that they say that you have an incredible program. Now, some life coaches, they like to be intuitive. What? It's too much intuitive, like it lacks structure. And then there's the other side where coaches are, full on structure and like no intuition. So we got both ends of the scale. We got intuition and we've got structure. There's gotta be a balance between the two of them, right? So let's go through what a great coaching program looks like. First off, we gotta be able to have a plan. Like, what is your plan to move this person from point A to point B? What is that plan? And can you draw it out? Could you put on a whiteboard what your plan is in your coaching program to get them from point A to point B? The reason why you want to be able to draw that out is so that you can show your client, show them the whole journey of what it's like to coach with you. Every coaching client wants to know, where are we going? What does this look like? And if you can't draw that or explain that in some kind of diagram or picture or flow chart, they're gonna wonder where you're going and what's next. And a client that is confused doesn't move very fast. So part of the reason why your coaching clients might not be moving very fast is because you don't have an overall plan. So whatever you currently have, go ahead and put that into a flow chart or a diagram. Literally from point A to point B, what are the steps going to be throughout this coaching program? So that's the first part, is be able to describe to your client what the overall plan is. The next thing is in the actual appointment. If you're gonna hold it in person or across on video conferencing or even a phone call, either way you do it, you wanna make sure that your appointments have a format. Now, it doesn't have to be so strict, like every minute of that appointment is like mapped out, but an overall format. That way your client can get used to the format so they understand what's coming next. If you keep changing the format in the appointment, it's going to confuse your client, and a confused client doesn't move very fast. They just move slowly. And when they move slowly, they get bored and they feel like things aren't working and they paid this money and then they're just done with you. So you don't want it to be boring. You don't want it to be confusing. So find a format that works for you, either really structured or loosely structured, but follow the same format each time. Even if you kind of have to bounce around a little bit, but they see the same pieces happening in that appointment. It helps them build trust in you. And that's what you want. Is over the years of coaching, I realized that it's not only the content that moves the client and the actual coaching, but the amount of trust that they have for me. So the more they trust me, the more they'll take action on what I'm teaching them. And trust is built because they can see structure. They can see consistency. That's why you want to have a format when it comes to your actual appointment. No matter how long it is, have some kind of format that you're following. Okay, next thing, they're going to expect you to give them action steps, or the conclusion of the appointment is to have action steps. Now, usually these action steps are all pointed at what the steps are to get to their goal or to move forward in what their project is, but also have action steps on how they're personally going to improve. So to me, there's two sides to this. There's action and there's personal improvement. So I don't know how you do your coaching or what your content is, but if you could look at this and go, okay, there's two different kinds of action steps. One, to make progress on what they're working on. And then the second one is, what can they do for themselves to personally improve? Because you and I both know to be the best life coach, you've got to personally improve. You know, that you got to teach them how to personally improve. And so the reason why we want to do this is because if we leave them in the psychology that they're at, they don't have the capacity to keep progressing. So I really believe that there's two action steps, two types. One is for the action steps where the project is. Second is what they're gonna do to personally improve. And that could be reading a book, studying, gaining a new skill, upgrading their education. Okay, next thing. When it comes to coaching, the client expects that there's gonna be some kind of tracking. Something's gonna be tracked, like what am I gonna do? What am I doing? Are we keeping track of what I'm doing? And if there's no tracking or you don't ask them to track anything, they start to feel like this is just really mushy. You know, just really mushy, and it's not really got any rails to run on. So you want to have some kind of tracking program where they either are the client are tracking their action steps or tracking their progress or journaling, something where they're tracking what they're doing. Because a person who tracks what they do are more conscious and more aware, and they change faster. They transform faster. So some kind of tracking process. Now, what I like to do is I have my clients text me every day and tell me what they've done. I also have a tracking sheet, really super simple tracking sheet, the day, the activity, and if they did it or not. So that way they're seeing what they've done and what they haven't done. But you can keep it really simple, but make sure you apply the principle of tracking. Now it comes time for reporting. Have your clients update you or report to you either on a daily basis or a weekly basis. They expect it. And if you don't have that in your coaching program, they're gonna wonder what you're up to. And to be really the best life coach, you want to have a reporting process, which means they report to you either through email, through a voicemail, or a text, or some kind of online form that you could have them fill out, and all that information gets gathered together. So the important aspect is they expect to report, and if you don't have them reporting, they know your coaching program is lacking, because reporting is accountability, and everybody expects that if they're going to work on themselves or move forward in life, they need more accountability. So if you don't have this accountability piece in place, they'll know your program doesn't really have what it takes to move them forward. So for you to be the best life coach ever, you got to have a reporting process. Now, here's another piece that I find very valuable in my coaching appointments or between appointments is the opportunity for them to ask questions. Now, during the appointment, of course, there's conversation. They can ask questions there. But during the week, other questions might pop up. How do they get those questions to you? Do they email? Or first, can they ask you questions? And when they go to ask you questions, how does that process work? Can they ask you 100 questions a day? This is what I tell my clients. You can ask me questions, but you have to either text them or email them to me, and then you got to give me 24 to 48 hours to answer you. Because I have other appointments, I have speaking engagements, I have webinars that I do, and so I give them a timeline that I will answer them back in. And I tell them their text or their email cannot be longer than 2 digits of their finger. Just because I want them to narrow it down and not write out a whole 2-page dissertation of like what the question is all about. I need them to become more concise in their questions. And most people learn quickly how to eliminate those unnecessary words. So the questions are really concise, makes it easier for me to answer, and it speeds up the process of the Q&A so that they're not just piling all kinds of random stuff on top of me. So the Q&A, I let them know how that communication agreement works and also the quantity in which they can send to me. That way it doesn't overload me as I'm trying to add more and more clients, because if I max out on 1 or 2 clients, I'm not gonna add 3 or 4 clients. That's not gonna work. So I've also got to protect my system and my ability, my capacity, so I give them limitations of how they can do that. They just need to know how the Q&A system works. Now, another thing that I find that clients really want is they want to be able to have other resources, like a book to read or videos to watch. And it doesn't have to be your book or your videos. You can give them other resources that move their thinking, that upgrade their thinking when you're not teaching them. So in your pursuit of your own personal development, when you find something awesome, make note of that or reference that or save the link so you can share it with your clients. It helps you look like and be the best life coach ever. So these are some very important points about your coaching program. I hope that you'll take a look at this and look at your program and see what parts are missing and go ahead and implement them. Now, at first, when you go to implement any of these that I've talked about, you're gonna find that you're not quite sure exactly how you want it yet. That's why you test it, kind of watch and see how it's working, and then you have every right to adjust it. That's the thing, test, measure, and adjust. Test, measure, and adjust. It always gives you permission to be able to adjust things if they're not quite working right. We're not really perfectionists up front. Perfectionism comes through a process. a refining process. But I think it's very valuable. Let's go through the list really quick. So the first thing clients need is they need a plan. You know, where are they going? From here to there, what does this overall plan look like? Next, an appointment format. Next, action steps towards their goal. Next, action steps for personal improvement. Also, tracking, reporting, Q&A time, and how that communication agreement works. And then, do you have any other resources for them to study to improve them in between appointments? Beautiful, right? I know, it's awesome. It's so doable. And this is what I do, is I want to help other coaches become awesome and great out there and become literally the best life coach, because people will benefit because your skill has gone up. And so, yes, I love coaching, and yes, I wish I had, 100,000 clients, but I can't handle that many clients. So that's why we need you out there in the world doing what you've been called to do, what you've been inspired to do, to coach people. But you got to have a balance between intuition and structure, because if it gets out of balance in either way, you're going to lose the opportunity to work with people. Now, all of this together, like if I took this whole list and I just squished it together, it comes down to three things. Plan. The client wants to know the plan for everything. They want to know the flow, how it all works, and then they want to feel a connection to you as a coach. Plan, flow, and connection. So if you're wondering where to improve your coaching program, look and see if it literally looks like a plan. Also look at the flow of how it works during an appointment, in between appointments, and how the whole experience is. And then look and see if the people, your clients, if they actually feel like they're connecting to you. Where do they connect you at? Where are you present? How do they communicate with you? But the plan, the flow, and the connection. So beautiful things to think about as you become a better life coach. And as you become the best life coach, your confidence is going to go up. You're going to open your mouth more. You're going to be more daring, courageous in what you do. When your program feels amazing, you become unstoppable as you're promoting it to the world. So don't hide your gift under the bushel, right? Don't hide your gift. Put it out there in the world, because there's people looking for what you have, what you know, and what you've experienced, because they need help. And you have answers for other people. And that's what's amazing, is even kids are praying for their family or their parents or their siblings that somebody will help them. And you could be the answer to that prayer. That's what's beautiful about this, is we can be that person to facilitate change in a person's life if we'll just get off our fuzzy bum and get out there, and we will be able to be out there and be ready with our program so that we can serve and help as many people as possible. So my plan is to be here for you, to give you this information, what I've learned over the last 18 years as a coach, and share with you to save you time, money, and effort in what you're trying to do to build and make your program even better. So stay tuned by clicking the link down here and subscribing to my channel, because we've got all kinds of new fun videos coming out that are just super insightful. I've turned a new corner about how much I'm sharing and what I'm sharing, because I'm seeing how much it's affecting people. So yeah, you want to subscribe and then click that little bell thing so you can get notifications when the next video comes out, so you don't miss anything I'm dropping for you, right? Or actually placing on the table for you. So in your pursuit of having great structure, I really truly believe and know that you can become the best life coach ever, and to think that, to believe that, and to pursue that. Awesome. Okay, thanks.